YouTube? It's your friend, the Spooky Gruppeteer, and I'm back in another Steven Universe vlog. And, I got the little spooky mask here because last time I wore the mask, it was incredibly uncomfortable, so I'm not doing that again. But I'll have it here, so it's equally as spooky. And there's another spooky little guy, so whatever I could find at Market Basket for $1 that was spooky enough. Ooh. But this episode is Secret Team, and it's not a good one, guys. I'm just gonna say it now. I don't like this one. But let me tell you the story. So what's it called? Steven and Amethyst are having a fun time, jumping in puddles, and then it kind of goes to another story out of that story about how Pearl somehow got her hands on this bubble full of gems that make arms and legs that Rose bubbled when she was still alive. And so that goes into another story about how the bubble pops, and I can't even remember it. The bubble pops, and it turns into all kinds of these arms and legs and limbs of other gems. And so they, Steven, Amethyst, and Pearl all join together, and they go all around the temple, and they destroy the arms and the legs and stuff. But Steven likes the idea of them all working together, so he makes up a team because they can't tell Garnet about what happened, so they make up a little special team. Sorry, I have Ebola. Anyway, they have a special team about it, and Steven calls it the Secret Team, and he uses this little coupon from the Fish Stew Pizza place as their little logo card kind of thing. But when they find all the arms and the legs, then the team's kind of over. They don't have anything else to do. So Steven goes all Rorschach, and he just goes around thinking about how great the days were when he was in the gang, and they do a whole bunch of things about how he's kind of like a Rorschach, kind of Mr. Incredible kind of thing, where he's like, those were the days, just reminiscing on that, walking around town. And then he tries to get the team back together, which, just tries to get Pearl and Amethyst to work together again. And that's kind of weird, so he called in Garnet, and they have like a film noir kind of discussion, which sounds really funny, but it isn't really funny. And then the episode ends when Garnet uses her giant hands, which she apparently has, but whatever, it's not explained. And she says that they're all a team together, and I don't know, a little rainbow or something. Yeah, this wasn't good. This wasn't a good one, guys. This episode is the debut. God, I don't know what's wrong with my voice. I sound all raspy. I was yelling a lot yesterday. I had stuff to do. Anyway, that sounds weird. It was a thing. It was a thing. You wouldn't understand. It was a concert. Anyway, it wasn't even a concert. Never mind. I digress. This episode is the debut of, I think, a storyboard artist on the show, which, it's either a storyboard artist or a writer, but I think you can kind of tell that person had full control over the project. This isn't at all like any of the other episodes. It tries. I didn't even laugh. I didn't laugh at one point in this episode. There wasn't anything. There wasn't any. The story was It starts out here, and they're jumping in puddles, and it's okay, jumping in puddles. And then it goes to Rose. Okay, Rose, how'd you get the thing? They don't say it. They don't explain it. Then they go to the arms and the legs fall off, and alright, that's a really quick story that they could have just spread out and made the entire episode them trying to find the arms and legs, and then Garnet coming in and them trying to hide it from her. That could have been easy, but they spend 30 seconds trying to get the arms and legs, and it's just a montage of them just grabbing and boom, boom, bam, and some arms and legs. And then it just goes to, and then like that just literally it just stops, and Steven has like a hat and a trench coat and everything, and he's at the. It doesn't make any sense. If there was an episode like this, the episode BMO Noir of Adventure Time and Secret Team, this episode, are very different in many ways. I mean, are very similar in many ways. It's kind of a weird comparison to make, but that's the episode. Like, this is what I compared it to when I was listening. I mean, when I was watching the episode. BMO Noir, if you don't know, it's an episode of it's an episode of Adventure Time where BMO, Finn and Jake just leave, and they just make BMO find a sock for him or something, because Finn lost his sock. And BMO just goes for it, but the entire episode's black and white and done like a crime scene movie. And so then they just go to, the episode plays off that. It's black and white, and everything is kind of like the film noir. This tries that, but it doesn't make sense because the rest of the episode is everybody else being normal, and Steven's just like the odd one out, acting like, the film noir kind of guy. And it doesn't work. I don't get it. Like, you could even say that in the BMO Noir episode, Finn and Jake, in the beginning, everything's normal, but then when they leave, BMO's in his own little world. And you could say that Steven's in his own little world in this episode, but it's... Oh, no, you couldn't. You couldn't say... This is an off episode for me. I didn't like this one at all, really. This is probably... I mean, I bet this guy that did this episode, or girl, I don't know who it is. It wasn't Rebecca, though. But anyway, whoever made this episode, they're probably a real good person. Kudos to you for, making an episode of a TV show that children watch all around the world. But maybe this is maybe this can just be like the foundation, and you can maybe work off some episodes for this. I'm not trying to be mean, but you didn't get it this time. You didn't hit that sweet spot. I didn't like this episode at all. At least the backgrounds are nice, if I'm gonna say something nice about it. But yeah, sorry this vlog is so late, by the way. I don't even have an excuse. I was just lazy and didn't want to make it. But I will see you guys later and have a spooky go-between. Boogie, 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 boogie. Chicka, chicka.